What's going on, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of our reaction to the greatest Ashes series of all time, England versus Australia 2005. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, please go and do so before you continue with this video, because obviously you have missed a lot at this point. Really been enjoying this so far. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a little nerve-wracking, a little bit of a nail-biter.
Yeah.
But I love a good underdog story, so I'm hoping we're going to see England come back and just dominate.
Yeah, it had been 18 years at this point, which I can imagine going into this. You haven't won against a team in 18 years. That's pretty...
So, it's hard to overcome. Once that precedent is set, it's hard to get past the mental beliefs, I think.
With 10 days to go before the teams met again, Australia had time to regroup and, more importantly, Glenn McGrath had time to recover. But there was no doubt in England's mind. They had outplayed the Australians in Manchester, and the key thing was that they knew they could do so again.
Gave hope, I think.
This was still level. The teams went to Nottingham with all to play for. And Michael Vaughan expected every man to do his duty.
Trent Bridge. The crowds came early to see Ricky Ponting win the toss and elect to bat.
Oh, look at that. It's another stadium. It must be a rugby stadium.
I bet he got a lot of new fans out of this.
Oh, you know it. Yeah.
Ready. So we're talking about.
No matter how quick the outfield is when you hit them like that.
There's placement and power.
They didn't have a particularly good first day, England, because Truskothic and Strauss sort of put on a good opening partnership. Then they lost Bell, and then Vaughan and Peterson sort of rebuilt it a bit. But then Vaughan got out near the end of the day.
Ponting has pulled it off.
4 wickets down, not so good.
The second morning started well for Kevin Peterson, who hit a string of boundaries. But his luck didn't last.
So we're on day 2 of match
The next morning was crucial, and Peterson was out early, so suddenly you thought, oh dear, 250 for 5. The Australians have had a result here, and they could easily bowl England out for 300. But this England side has made a sterner stuff, and the engine room really came to the fore there. That's Flintoff and Jones.
No ball called.
There we go.
And that goes into the boundary for 4. It's a lovely shot.
Fred by now is the threat. He's the one Australia had to get past. But the one thing he needed to do to complete the set, if you like, was to play the patient innings to help England realise a good total to put Australia under pressure.
Flintoff has got onto one and also got on to 50. Shot boy.
That's just a firm push, isn't it? He's such a big man with that power. But that's batting. That's not hitting, that's batting.
The funny thing about that innings is that it wasn't as spectacular as some of his earlier innings. And it wasn't in some ways as memorable, because there weren't the scary moments that punctuated particularly his first knock at Edgbaston. He was in control, he played straight, he played orthodox. Every time the ball went to the boundary, you just thought, well, that's the right shot to that ball. There's nothing particularly special about that. It's just an Australian quick bowler, and he should be dispatched to the boundary.
This was Flintoff's first Test 100 against Australia, and was clear evidence that Freddie had come of age.
I think we're going to look into Flintoff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the air, and a slight mishit, but down the ground, mishits from Flintoff tend to go further than mishits from most.
And there it is. Watched it close, turned it to the onside easily, and that's his 5th Test match century, first against the Aussies.
Test of an all-rounder is to be able to bat at 6 and get hundreds when they really mean something. Now, this was the point where that happened. His bowling had been fantastic all series, his batting had been great, such as it was, but this was a quality class innings from a quality player.
Nice.
I love that sound, man. That and the wickets.
When England were all out at tea on the second day, they'd reached an imposing total of 477. If the Australians found England's batting lineup formidable, they now had to face a relentless bowling attack. Matthew Hoggard took 3 quick wickets for starters.
Oh, that's out. That's out. Yes. Is there inside edge? And the finger goes up. Wonderful swing bowling from Matthew Hoggard.
England have had a 5-prong attack, 4 pace bowlers, constantly going at the Australian batsmen. There's been very little respite from them.
Not least from swing bowler Simon Jones, who was waging his own psychological war on the Australians.
I love the celebrating.
There too.
What he wanted
The
to
pure
show
joy.
was that he wasn't a one-trick pony. He wanted to show that he could bowl conventional swing. And of course, if you do that, having been the king of reverse, the Australian batsmen are looking for something that's not there. They're looking for the ball to go the other way.
That is impressive, thinking of swinging your arm all the way around like that, straight. Like they hold it straight, you know?
He looks dangerous, quite scary, really. He looks like a man who's done 300 press-ups and sit-ups a day, as if he's just come out of prison.
Yeah, he kind
This was Jones's moment.
I mean that as a compliment.
The crowd
he's
were
come out of
winning him
prison.
on. For the first time, maybe he felt he was going to make a contribution to win a test match.
Is this out? Yes.
Nice.
Wow.
What a good catch.
5 wickets for Jones for just 44 runs. The Australians all out and still 259 behind. A humiliation. They were forced to follow on.
The psychological significance of making Australia follow on, not Zimbabwe or Bangladesh or somebody else, but Australia, the world champion team who've devoured everyone in their path for all this time, they are now mortal. They are now someone to whom you ask the question, have another bat, because you haven't got enough. You haven't got enough. We've bowled you out.
Michael Vaughan is saying it's going to be hard work out there, boys. Are you up for it, bowlers? They say yes, and it's the first time Australia have been asked to follow on since they played Pakistan.
1988.
Wow.
That's big stuff. That is
That
England
is
saying,
big.
we're better than you, actually. You have another bat. Do better this time.
That's insane.
The follow-on is it's an interesting psychological thing. It's not necessarily always the smartest thing to do, but it is like kind of whipping a towel off someone as they're coming out of the showers.
Okay, I wasn't grasping what they're getting at here. So is this a special play like you can offer the other team in cricket? Like a follow-on?
I have no idea.
I think it is, because normally it's just like you trade off batting, right? When you get certain outs. But it sounds like this is a special thing, kind of like a timeout, but different, where you're like, oh, we feel sorry for you. Go ahead and have a turn at batting because you're sucking so much. Like, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, if that's the case.
And that, like what he was saying, that is a very psychological
And they haven't done that in forever.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I had no idea Australia was this good.
Neither.
I knew they were.
I didn't know anything about cricket, though.
Well, I knew. I had gathered that Australia was good, but I had
at least back then. I don't know.
Yeah,
about now.
I am curious, how they've potentially. I'm curious how England and Australia have fared over the last 20 years since this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at this point, it seemed like Australia may have been top dog in cricket because they were talking about Pakistan and some others as they were not as big a deal,
right?
So, and I know that India, I believe it's India, or is it Bangladesh? One of those, maybe both of those are really big into cricket as well.
And pointing at them, going ha ha.
The follow-on was a risk. It made a draw far less likely.
It was a gamble in some respect, but I asked the bowlers whether they were prepared to go out and try and bowl Australia out again. They're the ones that matter, not myself, and they all stuck their hand up and said, we're ready.
We were hoping they'd enforce the follow-on because we thought that was our best way of winning the game. We thought if we get 150 to 175 ahead, then we thought there were a real chance. And I remember Simon Kadich coming to me in the morning and said, how many do you need? And I said, I reckon around 170, 180, I reckon we'll win. He said, okay.
To win, Vaughan would have to outthink Australia. Tactics and strategy would become as important as bat and ball. Placing the fielders would play a crucial role.
There's really a lot of strategy to
Throughout
this
the series,
game.
Vaughan has put fielders in unusual but effective positions. For example, for Langer, who's an opening batsman, Vaughan puts a man on the deep point boundary. Now, conventionally, that would be seen as a sign of weakness. You don't set a man on the boundary for your rough, tough, macho opening bowlers. But Vaughan knows that that shot is a very good shot.
You play your best shot, and you're not getting 4 for it, you're only getting 1. It can piss you off, and we try to just try and create that image where Australia like to bully the oppositions. They like to get on top from ball 1. They want to hit boundaries. They want to put the bowlers straight away under pressure. So I was trying to ask them the question, you know, can you put our bowlers under pressure by not scoring the big 4s? So we blocked that off, and let's see what other options they had of scoring. And, you know, it created probably a few opportunities in the field because it maybe frustrated them. I think that was one of the key factors. We managed to frustrate them and make them play shots that maybe they wouldn't play in another game.
All right, I wanted to look this up real quick. In cricket, the follow-on is a rule that comes into play in longer formats of the game, like test matches and some first-class matches. Each team normally bats twice, 2 innings each. If Team A bats first and scores a lot of runs, and then Team B bats second and scores far fewer runs, Team A may have the option to enforce the follow-on. This means Team B has to bat again immediately without Team A batting in between. The purpose of the follow-on is to save time and push for a win. It is usually enforced if Team A feels they can bowl Team B out again quickly. Okay.
That's a cool rule. I like
that. That is like, so that goes show that confidence, basically.
It means is, firstly, they only get 1 instead of 4. Secondly, it means they lose the strike. That batsman loses the strike and ends up down the other end. And it really, I mean, it's been a very clever thing because the Australian batsmen, as a result, haven't really found a plan B. They've had this plan A, which is, yes, I'll come in and smack some 4s here and smack some 4s there. Oh, I've only got 1 for that, and I've lost the strike. I'm down the other end now. Damn.
Like Vaughan, Ponting was under huge pressure to deliver, both as a batsman and as a captain.
Oh, that's a really good one, made by the use of the feet.
So Vaughan must have been England's captain at this time.
Ponting looked increasingly confident.
I believe he was.
The partnership he built with Damien Martyn had the makings of a match saver.
Martyn and Ponting are putting on a stand. They're building runs. Ponting's out there batting for his life, for his reputation, under tremendous pressure. Martyn drops the ball into the offside and calls Ponting from the non-striker's end for a run.
Well, it was a dodgy single, period. Martin's hit the ball too close to the bloke at cover. They committed the cardinal sin of cricket, getting run out.
Run out. Australian captain in that situation. Run out, and then he looks at the bloke who's run him out, and he doesn't recognise him. He thinks, what? That's not Peterson. Who's that? That's some bloke on the field because Jones is off having a comfort break. By that stage, I'm sure Ponting didn't know how serious Jones's injury was, but he didn't bother to find out.
Wait,
and he's
what
made
injury?
himself like a complete arse, quite frankly.
Are they talking about
he goes off and
earlier
the camera stays on
injury
him, he gets to the
from a few
steps
days ago?
at the pavilion, and he looks up at the England balcony, and Duncan Fletcher, the coach, is there, and he's going, "You're cheating." And everyone looking at it thinking, what's happened? They nicked his wallet.
Simon Jones was legitimately injured, so he's allowed to have a substitute fielder. I don't think that was the issue. The issue was every time they bowled a spell and going off and having a shower and having 10, 15 minutes breather, and just most of the time having 1, 2, 3 substitute fielders on at any one time. And that wasn't really in the spirit of the game.
Ponting had got it wrong. Jones was genuinely injured. But in truth, England had been a little creative with the substitute rule. England were now showing an almost Australian style of ruthlessness. They were playing to win. Australia inched their way back into the game by tea on the 4th day. They were ahead by 129, but still well short of Shane Warne's target of 170. Victory was within England's reach.
England need 129 to win.
They started off fairly comfortably, and Trescothick was aggressive, and they scored good runs. But you just knew that Warne was going to produce something. Warne's just said, give me the ball, Ricky. You know, go and find somewhere to field and I'll sort it out.
Give me the ball, Ricky.
Now. You know, you might wave your hands around a bit, but I'll change the fielder there and I'll do that. And just leave it to me because this is serious. And if I don't do it, no one's going to do it.
Yeah, his bro was injured, remember?
Well, yeah, the other bowler,
Can't remember his name. McGraw, yeah.
So he must still be out.
Gone! I reckon that's about pat it is. The first one for Australia, and the first ball from Shane Warne.
If I was the captain of Australia and I had Shane Warne in the team, I'd be making as much use of him as possible. He's got a fantastic cricket brain. He's one of the greatest cricketers that's played the game. He's got a lot to offer. He must have a lot to offer. And I'm sure that Ricky Ponting uses his knowledge extensively.
There's this dichotomy within the team. Ponting's almost a puppet of a captain. And he must feel like that because he knows that Warne has the experience, the gravitas, the heroism, the respect, you know, and the spirit and the leadership quality, you know, and the fearlessness of what Australia may well have needed.
Some saw this moment as an example of the dominant Warne undermining the uncertain Ponting.
I've had my opportunity of captaining Australia and I enjoyed those few one days that I did, and I think in our side we've got a few senior players that help Ricky out and give him some helpful advice, and if he wants to take it, it's up to him.
I was in a wedding reception. Snuck a moment in the drinks before the meal to text my brother to say, have we won yet? The message came back, 70 for 4, Warne bowling brilliantly.
That's great bowling. Fantastic cricketer this guy is.
And it was as if a cold hand had seized a grip of my entrails.
I love the dramatics.
I could see vividly in my mind's eye the ball going sideways all over the place, Warne appealing for everything that hit any part of the batsman's anatomy, an England batsman going to and fro from the pavilion with monotonous regularity. It was a terrible, terrible moment.
The formal.
I know, I love it.
Talking, yeah.
Despite Warne's heroics, England crept towards the 129 they needed to win. But they'd lost all their top batsmen. Then the 7th wicket went down.
This is going to be out. Jasper won't drop this. This is all over. That's it. Another down. The pressure has got to Gareth Jones.
And the bowlers, Giles and Hogarth, were in. Was it going to be an England victory? Was there even a chance that Australia could win? In a series like this, nothing could be taken for granted.
2 hours of Treadbridge was some of the most agonising telly, most nail-biting, scary stuff. And that includes some pretty gory horror films and, you know, nasty thrillers. It was edgy, really, really edgy stuff.
That's it. Those are the winning runs for England.
Wow.
The winning runs were hit by Giles, tucked modestly through the leg side. And who should he be facing but his nemesis, Warne?
Wow. England had gone 2-1 up in the series.
What a way to end
it. They only
it.
needed a draw at the Oval to bring home the Ashes.
Last of the heroes for England in one of the more tense situations I've ever come across in watching cricket.
Is the misery of losing outweighed by the pleasure of winning? And I think for England it is. Because England is like a championship league or a second division soccer team in a strange sort of way. I support Norwich City in soccer, say. And I really don't mind when we lose because I expect us to.
He just used the word soccer.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
just realized that.
I don't know if I've ever heard a Brit use the term soccer.
Yeah, supposedly it's just an American thing.
But it was invented in Britain.
Yeah.
You know?
But we're the only ones still using it.
No, we're not the only ones.
Apparently.
Ireland supposedly still uses
Really?
it. There's teams in South America that still use soccer. But it stands for Association... I can't remember. They basically changed it because at the time... rugby was considered some form of football, and it was like I don't know. I don't remember anyway. Something about they was getting confused with two different types of sports.
But when we win, I am so happy, infinitely happier than any Arsenal supporter or Chelsea supporter ever could be.
Even though they've been dominating Australia throughout every game since Lord's, they've not quite been able to. It's almost as though perhaps they can't quite believe they're in this position. And credit to Australia, they never give in as well. They've got this residual kind of competitive instinct that comes out, and they fight to the wire.
There's no doubt that England have been the best side. I mean, they've played generally the better cricket.
It shows an amazing amount of inner sort of fight and self-belief and skill to have got to where they've got to at the end of the fourth test and to be leading the series. And
that was the end of the
it's
fourth?
been an immense performance that's put cricket back on the map in this country. And
All right, I am so confused. I mean, it makes sense though because we still got time on the
Cricket is like the game that never ends.
I know. Like I keep on thinking, oh, okay, that's going to be the end, and it's like,
oh my
nope.
Goodness. When they said before, like I think on yesterday's video when we ended it,
yeah,
it said it was a draw.
Yeah.
When I think of a draw, I think
it was a draw for the day.
It was that day.
Yeah, it was a draw for that day. I guess it wasn't a draw for the actual match itself. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. All right.
People in this country really believe that we have got winning sportsmen again.
Around about 10 million people watched that game in the UK alone, and suddenly, from a crushing defeat at Lord's, England had turned the sum around and they led 2-1. As for the Aussies, they were on the ropes. Imagine this, to retain the Ashes, they had to win here at the Oval. Dawn at the Oval. England 2-1 up and only needing a draw to finally bring home the Ashes.
That's true. They only need a draw.
Vaughan's team, chances like this come once in a lifetime.
William Blake's Jerusalem rang out all over the nation that morning. Some even compared the hype to the 1966 Football World Cup. One thing was certain. Winning the toss would be critical to England's chances.
So what
Michael
if
Vaughan has
Australia
the coin
won
and Ricky
this
Ponting
one?
will call.
Do they want to bowl first?
The toss was crucial because what England needed to do was to try and bat Australia out of the game.
Tail. Michael Vaughan has won the toss.
Won the toss and batted first. It was a belting pitch, and they just thought, right, with 400, 450, and it's ours.
It's almost the public and the press thought we'd won the Ashes anyway. There's all these plans being made which didn't help us, to be honest, being told about open top buses and such like.
So they want to, depending on the weather, they want to bat or bowl.
England's openers made a fine start.
That side of stuff between second and third.
Just a lovely, lovely straight drive. Shot of the morning for me from Marcus Trescott.
Then that man Warne took charge of the ball, and it was as if he was taking on the English single-handed.
Warne changes the game. That's why he's been so great at over the years.
That was a good catch.
Fantastic catch.
And it's a scary sight for batsmen. And if you're an England supporter, you're trembling when that happens.
The best move must be, and always will be, the move that your opponent least wants you to play. And that's what Warne has. He knows what the batsman doesn't want to happen, and that's what he makes happen.
England's captain came to the crease to steady the ship.
He's a thinking bowler, not just because he's a great leg spinner, but the way he changes his field, he'll change his angle of delivery, he'll float a few up, he'll bowl a few faster.
Well, sometimes it's creating of an impression of something's happening when it's not really. And that's a combination of a lot of different things.
You fancy scoring off him, but he creates opportunities because he's that clever. He's quite a wily old fox.
Dang!
And sure enough, Warne the Fox trapped his prey. With Warne on a roll, England's batsmen were falling apart.
Ooh, that is close. That's really well bowled.
Bowled him! There it is, the battle's over. And Shane Warne That's big for Australia.
You think back to the 70s, and the archetypal Australian hero was a Dennis Lilly with a big moustache and, you know, bulging biceps and shirt flapping and bowling at 90 miles an hour. And now it's Shane Warne with his bottle blonde hair and his earring and his flashing smile and a fat tummy.
Well, I mean, English people have a love-hate relationship with Australians.
Well, you could call it a love-hate relationship. I loved them and they hated me.
They did finally break into a chorus of, "We wish you were English, we only wish you were English." And I think they would love Warney to be English. I think if England had Shane Warne, they could really go places as a team.
Well, England didn't have Warne, but luckily they did have Strauss, who went serenely past
Did
his
they
50.
really sing that?
I think
one
so.
player in advance, one England player to play the innings that England needed, it would be Strauss.
That's a big sign of respect.
What?
That's a big sign of respect.
Has to get you runs, has to get you a start. And he just concentrated. He knew exactly what he had to do, which was to bat time as well as score runs, and he set himself to do it brilliantly. When Fred came in, at that point, England are thinking, well, actually, we probably, if we don't do anything stupid, if we just hold ourselves together for the next 2 sessions, this is it.
Oh, he's hit that one. It's going a long way down in the ground. Is it over the top? Well, the crowd is signalling 6. I'm not too sure. One way or the other.
Okay, hold on one second. You remember how they had a draw on that day?
Was it the third day? I think it was.
Of the 4th match? Or the 3rd match?
The third match.
Of the 4th
whatever day it was.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're 2-1 right now. They're playing the 5th match.
Mm-hmm.
That means one of the matches actually had to be a draw. We were right. It had to be right because, like, it couldn't have been just a day. It had to be an actual match.
Yeah.
I'm so confused on
the scoring and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like, and it might be because we're watching 5 matches over multiple days in one video, so we're like, we're
hard to keep up.
We're not used to watching cricket games enough to really kind of pick up when they're changing everything. So, but I think I definitely am grasping more and more now after this than I did before.
Yeah, for sure. My question is though, what would happen if Australia won this match?
That's what I was thinking, because then they would.
Because then they both won
2-2 draw.
So would they just be done, or would it go into overtime?
Yeah, that's something I'm curious about too.
Freddie Flintoff's half century.
He's so good that the only way that you're going to come unfounded is if you start thinking too much. And when someone like that thinks too much, he gets confused. So he's just better off going to play with the ball. He's outstanding. With the bat, he's naturally can hit it out of the ground at will.
But now he's worked out that the game batting is not only about 4s and 6s. It's about controlled shots and, you know, finding the gaps and kind of manipulating the bowling to your favour.
Is that Flintoff?
Where?
Batting.
After Flintoff's 50, Strauss reached 100 and became the only player on either side to do so twice in the series.
Wow.
Nice.
This has been a superb knock. It's Mrs. Strauss there, and boy, she's delighted.
And the Ashes were seeming to look safer by the ball.
700 in tests.
But that didn't last. England collapsed under pressure, all out for 373.
Marvellous hand today.
It wasn't bad, but was it good enough to defend?
Makes the decision for Shane Warne.
It just gave a little sniff of an opportunity to Australia. 370 was a bit of a nondescript score. They had the chance of getting to 500 and doing the thing that they really wanted to do, which was to set Warne going on a slightly wearing pitch and putting it under pressure.
The morning, day 2, and Australia started to bat with greater resolve than at any time in the series.
Into the gap, and it races away to the boundary. That's the first 4. Oh, good shot. He's got that one away too.
But for the next 2 days, the great British weather took over.
Oh, wow.
Australians surprised everyone by showing a reluctance to bat in bad light.
you know, the conditions were borderline playable. It was arguable that you would come off in normal circumstances, but these were not normal circumstances. And I think it was, if it wasn't important in terms of the time that was actually lost, it was a psychological blow to Australian esteem. I think as a cricket team, you always try to do what the opposition doesn't want. And in this sense, I think they did exactly what England would have preferred them to do.
Off for
that was a decision that, you know, I thought we maybe had to stay out there because of the time in the game. But that was a decision that was made.
When the weather finally cleared, the game was on a knife edge. With both Australian openers making hundreds, they were on course for a big total and a daunting lead.
Langer watching the ball close onto the bat.
Oh, good shot. He's got that one away too.
But they hadn't reckoned on Fiery Freddie.
He's the MVP of this series. Seems like.
Freddie.
With Simon Jones out injured, Flintoff embraced the challenge of bowling for two.
An old ball, I might say.
18 overs in a row. Astonishing performance for a bloke who must have been almost physically out of gas.
2-1 up and you're on the brink of to do something special. You know, you just don't seem to get tired. Your body doesn't ache.
The adrenaline keeps you going again.
And you want to make a difference.
Must be LDW, surely. Yep, it's a slow death. But it is a death. That's also close. That is also out.
It's been an extraordinary privilege to watch this bloke, this force of cricketing nature, just say, I have the tools here, I have the power, and you're going to witness me doing these things with bat and ball.
Whoa!
It's a good catch.
Wow.
Australia all out. 367.
Who caught that?
Everyone had expected Australia to establish a big first innings lead. But, incredibly, they didn't even get past England's total. So when the new innings began, the game was still wide open, and England were facing the magnificent Warne once again.
Oh, nice area, Shane.
I think there's a few England supporters there trying to con the umpires into taking England off.
There was this wonderful byplay in the crowd between the English elements and the Australian elements, where the Englishmen were flourishing their umbrellas in the air, and the Australians were taking off their shirts in order to indicate that it was basking Australian sunshine. And of course, the Australian players went along with the gag by coming on in sunglasses, which was just a golden moment.
Not again. What are they doing?
Before long, the English fans got their wish and play was ended by bad light again. The last day of the summer, and the Ashes still in the balance.
It's really interesting to me, like the whole bad light thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, couldn't you just have stadium lighting?
You know, I don't see any stadium lighting.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't you just have lights and then you can play whenever?
I don't know. That is interesting, though.
The tension was palpable, and England's challenge was clear. Bat out the day, and the Ashes would be theirs.
Morning, everyone.
Wow.
Stirring moment.
I bet the energy would be wired.
Anticipation on everyone's face around the ground, and everyone is waiting for this final day.
The old warhorse Glenn McGrath, the scourge of English batsmen over the past decade,
Oh, he's
summoned
back
up
in the
one
game?
last mighty effort to wrest the series from England's grip.
Man, that's a long run up.
Oh, beautifully bowled. That's much better. Wickets are what Australia need. In the air. Oh, what a catch. What a magnificent
That was a great catch.
Look at this grab from Adam Gilchrist.
Man.
Absolutely sensational. And the breakthrough that Australia wanted this morning, can they get on a roll from here at 67 for 2?
The very next ball, it was Ian Bell in the firing line.
2 slips in position. In the air. Got him. Warne's got him. That's a catch. That's 2 in a row. The Aussies have...
Is that Warne they call it?
Well,
He is everywhere.
This This is unbelievable. Surely.
He wasn't just a bowler.
No,
he was I'm saying he wasn't just a great bowler. He was a great batter.
Yeah.
He was a
Who
great
should step up to the plate?
catcher.
All around.
Kevin Peterson.
Here we go.
Oh,
that looked bad.
Yeah, that sounded bad too.
Let's have a close look here.
Oh, okay. I thought he hit him in the face.
Yeah,
he knew that
that looked
this
worse
was
than it
his
was.
opportunity, but this was also his threat. This was also the possibility of being the man who bottled this important juncture.
Man, you'd be feeling
everything to
all
lose
kinds of nerves
as well.
and pressure.
It's a fine line sport sometimes, and we had held one of those couple of catches early when he was on nothing at the start of the last Test match. He probably averaged around 30, and people would have been saying, "Is he good enough for Test cricket?"
Oh, he's dropped it. Dropped it.
But someone was smiling on Peterson.
Is that the moment or what? It's almost.
He followed one from Lee. It went head high to Shane Warne, his old mucker at slip, the sort of thing that Warney would normally swallow, and somehow it just burst through his hands.
Most extraordinary.
And it's interesting, when a chance comes under circumstances like that, how hard your hands can get.
Saw a big flash, Brett Lee bowling, and I had my hands there, and it looked like I just felt, oh yeah, I've got this, thank you. And then it just sort of hit me right down on the drumstick there, and so I must have dipped, so it did me for lack of pace. So I've caught some unbelievable ones over the years, and it does make you feel better that you drop one. I think it's probably the worst feeling in cricket, no matter what the situation of the game.
Fortune favours the brave, and I'm a pretty brave cricketer, I'm a pretty positive cricketer, and that's the way I went about my business, and I took the attack to Australia.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Can't see the problem. Oh, that's a heck of a strike. My goodness. Really, that's
He's getting it done.
Yeah, he is.
And it's just the sporting gods up there decided that, no, we're going to drop a few and give him a bit of a life, and he's going to have a bit of luck, and it's going to be his day. And in between having all that, he played, an unbelievable innings and showed what a great player he is, what an outstanding player he could be.
Nicely played. That's the 50 for Peterson.
The way he attacked after lunch on that last day altered the whole atmosphere and feeling, and I think that was the moment that Australia just thought, no, it ain't going to happen for us.
Wow, and then that moment.
That one.
Oh my goodness.
Holy.
Another 6.
Man.
He's on fire.
Again he goes.
Dude.
Sean Tate, it was a good effort. Hang on to it.
Wow.
Oh.
Almost got the camera.
That shot was. It's baseball.
Peterson batted out of his skin, but the possibility of defeat still existed. When Collingwood was England's 6th wicket to fall, they were still only 192 ahead, and there was plenty of time left for Australia to make the necessary runs.
Terrific catch.
That's a beautiful stroke with which to make your maiden Test century. The last Test match of an Ashes series.
Wow.
To me, the critical moment almost of the whole series, and that's not underestimating everything that had gone before, came in the 71st and the 72nd over. First, Brett Lee bowled a ball of 94.7 miles an hour. That's very, very quick.
He has played some fantastic
Wow.
He hits big.
Massive eruption. Great relief of tension, but still not quite enough, still not quite there. Next over, Peterson faces Warne. What's Warne got left? What has he got left? The great champion.
What a bit of batting.
And he got there and he hit it back over his head for 6. That, to me, was the moment everyone on the field and everyone on the ground knew England finally were going to win the Ashes.
Hit that cleanly.
Tired Glenn McGrath finally got his man for a spellbinding 158.
He was out for what?
But by then, it was
matches,
too late
right?
for Australia to save
like
the Ashes.
Almost all of it, right?
England under severe pressure.
Forgot how this is over a course of quite a while, like a number of weeks.
Receive a standing ovation. He gets one from Shane Warne at the moment.
Shane and I are good friends, speak to each other daily, and I feel sorry for him. I mean, he did his part and he was magnificent in the series. He was absolutely sensational. The bloke is a true champion and a true legend, and I respect him as much as any legend. He's just fantastic.
Oh, what a delivery. Giles kicks the turf in disgust, but Warne is unbowed and unbeaten to the end.
With England 341 runs ahead and only a few overs left to play, the game was effectively over. For Warne and McGrath, it was the end of an era.
I said to Glenn, come here, you know, this is the last time you and I are going to be here. We've been, you know, we've done pretty well over here in this sort of time. It's the last time we're going to play together over here in England. Come here, and just walked off together.
The end was a total anticlimax in a way. You know, after all these incredible matches and tense finishes, we're then standing around for 20 minutes, and I was outside the England dressing room at that point, and they were just waiting for something to happen. And there were the umpires, sort of posing around, looking at the light. You know, everyone just wanted the game to be called off. And it was odd in a way. It showed how cricket kind of still has this old-fashioned kind of ambience about it, that the umpires, two men in white, have to stride out to the middle and deliberately take the bails off before the match can be called off. It was a charade.
There it is. What a performance from these two gentlemen.
All-time perfect. There it is.
England have regained the Ashes.
Wow. That was pretty anticlimactic ending.
To come down to the last day of the series, I'm not sure how many series over the years have come down to the last day, just about the last session of the whole series.
We had brilliant attacking batsmanship, we had terrific defensive batsmanship, we had wonderful swing bowling, we had brilliant leg spin, and we got no result. It was just perfect. It was the kind of test match that is just impossible to explain to Americans because there was no result. And everyone wanted them to be no result.
When we beat Australia, it is a joy that you cannot possibly transmit or communicate to others. It is so intense, it radiates your whole being, and you skip on air for weeks.
Well, these are some of the most fantastic scenes ever seen in English cricket.
It's been a summer story, a summer-long story. We've had, you know, good weather, we've had bad weather, we've had excellent crowds, we've had 20,000 people turn away on Monday from Old Trafford. It's just been awesome, and cricket is a brilliant sport played by pretty good guys. And I think it's back where it belongs, you know, and I hope it stays there.
And I've probably been a nightmare to live with throughout the whole summer. My wife's not really got much conversation out of me at all. And throughout the summer, my mind's just been purely focused on trying to achieve what so many people have tried to do. But I generally believe we had an opportunity to do so. And when you believe you have an opportunity, you have to try and take that.
So there it is, finally. The most famous cricketing trophy of all, reclaimed after 16 long years. And with it come memories of the greatest series that the world has ever seen.
What a catch from Andrew Strauss.
Beauty! Yes! Magnificent cricket from this man. Oh, Stephen Harmison with a slower ball. One of the great balls. Given the moment, given the batsman, and given the match, that is a staggering gamble that's played off for Harmison.
Got him. Well, Giles has done his stuff.
joy for every England player on the field.
That was awesome.
That would have been a really good feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah.
After almost 2 decades of not winning.
Yeah.
To finally have some redemption and get to say we won.
Let us know in the comments, guys, how have both teams fared over the last 20 years since this happened?
Yeah.
You know, I have no idea. I haven't really looked into that.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. It was, almost comparable lengths of time.
Yeah, it's almost, well, it is basically halfway. Or that was basically halfway. This definitely was an eye-opener in terms of the game itself. Like, it really showed how exciting the game could be. A lot of people talk like cricket isn't that exciting of a game.
I think that's probably because it can drag on for so long, for so many days. That would get frustrating, I think, if you were wanting to see the end. But
if you're just enjoying the atmosphere itself and you just enjoy the game, there are plenty of exciting moments, as we see, you know. But it is surprising at how long a series obviously takes. I mean, we kept on thinking, okay, now this is a different game, but we were still on the same technical match. We just kept on going on and on and on, and it was like actually very surprising for me. I remember that now, hearing that, but this is the first time we've actually seen cricket like this, outside of some highlights or whatever, when it comes to catching or sixes or whatever.
It also makes me wonder how long. Like, there's got to be a set amount of time between each match for the series.
Yeah,
and if you play over the course of some of those days, then you do or you don't. But
well, something that seems kind of mind-blowing to me is the fact that these games, like, each match seems to be long. Like a bowler is possibly bowling for quite a while. A batter is batting for quite a while. But beyond that, they're coming back again the next day. And the next day, and the next day, potentially. And in a series like this, they're coming back to play the same team again.
It seems like weeks. So
11 days between, it sounds like.
Ish.
Yeah, something like that.
If we got it correct. But yeah.
And I'm guessing they're playing other matches in between there. I don't think
so.
I don't know for sure, but I don't think they're going throughout the year 11 days between matches for a professional.
What if this is like, I don't know.
Yeah, these are the types of questions we have. Obviously, this if you've been around this sport for a very long time, a lot of it probably is
second
nature to you. But as people that are learning this sport in adulthood, there's
a lot to it.
There is so much to this. I found this very, very interesting, and I think this is. I 100% would love to go to some cricket matches, but if I'm at a series, I would want to come back every day of the series. Like, you can't miss it.
Game, the whole match.
And you think about this: how many individual games were there in this series? Yeah, how many matches were there in this series? I mean, I'm not talking about like...
There's 5.
Yes, but how many...
But days of playing.
Like 4 per... Was that 20 different actual games within these 5 matches?
I have no idea.
If you understand, like 20 different days?
Days, yeah.
I have no idea. It's what it seemed like anyway. I don't know, guys. There's a lot to learn with this sport, but I definitely will say I have more knowledge now than I did before I went into this. Yeah. I've kind of... You have to see stuff like this to kind of really start grasping it more.
Yeah.
I almost wish I could go back. I could, I guess. I almost want to go back and actually look at a rules-based video again now that I've seen this and all we've seen up until this point to kind of... Because now that we've seen it more, we can kind of grasp things more being explained to us.
One thing I wanted to mention is, like, if I was on England's team, playing in this series, and this could be said for any sport and any, like, championship game or whatever, but I would be so excited to win for sure, like, regardless of the circumstances.
Absolutely.
As long as you played honestly and everything was on the up and up. But I would be a little... Like, in the back of my mind, this is just me as a person. In the back of my mind, I'd be wondering, would we have won if the other bowler hadn't hurt his ankle or whatever, if he had been in the whole time?
Right.
You know, like I would have, it would just be this niggling, you know, thought in the back of my mind, and it would be.
The same could be said, like, you know,
That's
I mean.
what it said for any championship game or any, like, you know, things happen.
Yeah, the other team ends up injuring a really good batter or whatever, you know, like you never know. I mean, even someone on their outfield is injured. You just, you know, that's a good catcher. You just never know. Like, but that's in any sport, you know, like any sport at all. Like I've seen plenty of times in basketball where like, you know, a star player gets injured and the other team wins. And it's like, well, would they have still won? Who knows? You know, I mean, but
it's just stuff I like to ponder and just for my personal.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool game. I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah, and I definitely learned some new names that we might want to look into.
Yeah. I'm curious about, obviously, Freddie Flintoff.
Yes,
because,
absolutely.
I mean, he seemed like he was just dominating this series that year. Like, yeah. And I wonder if he was new during this one or if he had been playing for a while, you know.
Was he the guy that was he the guy that, well, numerous of them, this was their first test match. Mm-hmm. Or was it their first test match against just Australia?
I don't think they'd ever played in the Ashes.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, guys, so many questions. But we did learn a lot, and we definitely enjoyed this. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.